Hi guys. Today I'm doing another book that I wrote called Escaping Entropy. This is a book about science fiction and aliens, and it is about the universe ending and they have to escape. So here we go. I'm just going to start reading. The fourth dimension. The fourth dimension is just like 3D, but different in the way that our universe can only move in the X, Y, and Z axis. But along the F axis lies different 3D layers, just as 3D has adjacent 2D layers. As you pass through the fourth dimension, you will come across a whole new 3D layer, essentially a different universe. So if you go slightly into the fourth dimension, other creatures will see you phase out of that dimension that they are in and disappear. But to you, it would look like passing into and out of multiple different places without hard cuts between the two. It wouldn't look like a camera cut, but fast changes lead up to being into a different universe. Some of those objects might be located at different spots along the F axis, so you will see things come out of nowhere, then grow, and then shrink to become nothing again. Tiered civilizations in the Kardashev scale. Tier 1 civilizations have a spherical solar panel called a Dyson sphere surrounding the star that they orbit to get almost 100% of the energy the star produces. This may not be accurate information, but this is the best form of energy for the civilization. That means that there has to be some sort of way to transport the energy to different planets, and there is also no light for them to tell whether or where are the other planets. A Tier 2 civilization colonizes its entire solar system and gets itself living on each major planet. A Tier 3 civilization takes over the entire galaxy and has multiple Dyson spheres throughout. A Tier 4 civilization is able to harness almost all of the energy from their universe, and a Tier 5 is able to harness all the energy from not just their universe, but all of the universes combined. Tier 5 is also able to control what goes on in the different universes as well, like gods. Comlugs. A comlug is what I am. The comlug race has four different genders, one of which being neutral, another able to duplicate, and the other two mate and reproduce. We have 3 eyes, 6 legs, and are able to absorb water through our skin. We have 2 antennae atop our cylindrical heads that are able to detect sound and are able to feel disturbances and even radio messages. Our alien class is insectoid. We communicate using gentle cracks as we cannot speak with vocal cords. Chapter 1 Introduction to the Comlugs. I'm a worker for the Solar Plus Company. Our civilization is only a tier .98 on the Kardashev scale, and the Dyson sphere is almost complete. It is my quad yearly shift this year. Every 1,904 days, I have to fly up to the Dyson sphere and help with the building of it. You see, our 3 planets are not that much different from the humans because they're covered in buildings. They have all different purposes that are needed for our civilization. You want to mine for materials? Purchase a building with a hole in the bottom for only 43,063,845 gang, like 660.57866 repeating US dollars. There are so many buildings due to the amount of land available. You can also make really nice rocket docking stations to mine for the perfect materials for the Dyson sphere on other nearby cratered planets. The 3 main planets are starting to switch more and more to electrical lighting as the Dyson sphere is slowly depleting all of the light from reaching our planets. But if we want to find the location of another planet, we can just shine super bright lights around space and we'll come upon one. Now, obviously, we do not have enough iron and copper for the Dyson sphere whatsoever on 3 main planets, so to get the materials we need for it, we travel in pods to nearby cratered planets and colonize them a little so we can at least breathe while we mine the copper and iron. But some comlugs took it farther and have instead colonized some mining planets for extra housing, like we need any more that we already have. For the solar panels, we would use the vast amount of silicon provided on the nearby planets and also mine iron and copper from them. Our plan is to surround the entire star. keeping the Shabrunks civilization from finding ours and also keeping us isolated from any other beings out there that could harm us. The Shabrunks have already come and killed 2/3 of our population, about 45 billion Kamlugs. We had multiple good visitors as well, like the humans, which had changed our language and introduced the Kardashev scale. Even though we haven't ever met, we started communicating with them after all of a sudden there was a tingling feeling in our antenna. Most of us got to our buildings to escape the feeling, but others seeked out buildings with giant, more advanced electric antenna than ours to find an answer. The other comlugs in those more advanced buildings picked up a signal. It was some sort of message. Then they played whatever it was on their speakers. Soon they found out that this was not just a rogue signal from a star or a planet getting absorbed by a black hole. It was one of the human songs. They immediately sent them back a signal containing all of our alphabet. They knew that they had to wait another 1,000 years or so before they got back another signal. The humans had sent us a message containing multiple different languages, but the main person who spoke in the signal had spoken in what we would say the dominant language on that planet. English is what they called their language in the message. They also showed us their measurement scale in the signal that they sent back, which starts out on the atomic level. An inch is about 102,560 102,560,000 hydrogen atoms long, and that's the starting point. A centimeter is a little more than half an inch, etc. The comlugs in the spaceship are beckoning me to come inside the space pod by twitching their antenna. That is seen as a come-on signal by the comlugs. I got my way into the space pod. The inside is way different than I had remembered. The strap-in areas were nicer and more comfortable to be strapped in. There's a strap that goes across our upper chest, then one across our abdomen, then there are two other ones going diagonally over my topmost limbs and then down the center of our chests to our stomachs and trailing off the edges of our thighs on our lowest limbs. It's super comfortable. And we also have the freedom to move around and even reach stuff at a maximum of 48 inches away, which is pretty far. Although the comlugs are able to fluently write in English, we're not able to speak it. Our mouths are only able to give off different crackle sounds, which has been commonly known as the comlug language. That is what we had spoken, and it's quite easy to translate to English. Are you guys all ready to go? The pilot comlug said. I looked over the ovular window and replied with a faint crackle. Yes. Then the other Solar Plus workers all started to give the same crackle. The head comlug started the engine, and then the rocket took off. I've been working for the Solar Plus company since they had started building the Dyson Sphere. You see, us comlugs live a very long time. The average lifespan is a comlug is about 700,000 years, and are still getting longer every generation. I started helping with the Dyson Sphere at age 23 and have worked there since. Every 4 years, we get a break and have to mine for materials or chill out at our main planets. If we get thirsty, we don't have to spill water down our throats, but to pour it over ourselves, and it will get absorbed. A good swim is always terrific. Luckily, there are lots of oceans back at our 3 main planets. The ship is approaching the Dyson Sphere now, and I do not want to bring my journal for fear of dropping it into our star. Don't worry, I'll write down what happened when I get back. Chapter 2. The Humans. While I was building the Dyson Sphere, a whole lot of shipments of supplies and sustenance that were coming from nearby planets arrived. Luckily, I already had some food and a swim before I went up. There were CO2 tanks so we could breathe, and there were multiple times when someone would slip and almost fall into our star. I'm pretty sure it has had some casualties before. I managed to slot in 9,434 solar panels, but the most interesting thing that happened was that when we were there was news about other comlugs searching for humans. The humans have sent a description of the Milky Way galaxies, and it turned out to be one of the galaxies listed in our close proximity list. Although it is about 600 light years away, we could still manage to do that within a lifetime. But there is also news of someone creating a mechanism that can bend space time in order to make travel faster.